The mics are not on yet. I can't get that.
Robin, so you said mic's not on yet, right?
Not on.
So we can talk about anything.
The camera is on. The camera is on. They're watching you. They just can't hear you yet. In fact, I'm sure I'll start to get the I can't hear anybody yet.
Okay.
That's better than the hemorrhoid.
All right, are you ready?
Right.
Okay, gentlemen, pay attention.
Okay.
You ready?
Ready.
Okay. Wait.
And we are on, aren't we? Welcome to another Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Sergey Shealy-Sorin and, of course, wonderful company here from the Tuning Element. And we have Christopher and we have Randy. Wonderful people, and they're a wealth of knowledge about, well, health and wellness. So today's topic, we're going to talk about electricity. We're going to talk about frequency, energy, and vibration. And we're going to talk about how those can be extremely powerful healing modalities, or the absence of them can be the vice versa. And I'd like to start with the first and foremost quote, one of my favorites, Nikola Tesla. If you want to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. Now, there's a lot more to Nikola Tesla than that. So, gentlemen, would you like to mention some things?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Sorin.
And a brief introduction of who you are.
Sure.
If you like.
My name is Christopher Ray. I'm here from Tuning Element with Randy Yoder, also from Tuning Element. And we're excited to be here today because frequency plays such a major role in health, wellness, and the medical world that most people don't know because they go by other terms. And Nikola Tesla, wow, what an amazing guy. He had so many contributions to humanity. And you know what, the funny side note is when I was doing a little bit of extra research for this radio show, I was thinking he has a lot of similarities with Dr. Shealy. Dr. Shealy really has made major contributions to humanity through the invention of the TENS unit, bringing that to the public, as well as many other things that he has done. And he's quite the philanthropist as well. I saw that he also just made a major donation to MSU in the form of was it a farm?
Yeah, basically, Dr. Shealy established it's a psychology program, but it's a psychology program in the form of holistic psychology and research. And he donated his entire property. He literally donated over 300 acres and his house and all the land. And the only thing he was asking is to continue to live there, while he's around here with us. And basically, he gave up everything for further education.
Yeah, that's amazing. And just getting back to Nikola Tesla, some of the things that he's done, he has over 300 patents worldwide that he actually done. And he's known obviously for, which most people do know, for discovering alternating current. So AC electricity, which is in every household, every business, every hospital, is electricity can flow both ways on a wire. That's what that means. So that's exciting. He also has some inventions that we use today, such as remote control. Wireless monitoring used in hospitals and in clinics, as well as you ever charge your phone wirelessly by putting on a pad? He invented that. He did this nearly over 100 years ago. So there's a lot of things that we owe to him today as a society. He's known for, and it's arguable, depending on what side you argue, but he's he discovered radio before Marconi did out of Italy. He also improved the X-ray machine, which is the basis for today's modern day X-ray machine. And it was done so long ago that a lot of even current radiologists in the field may not know that. So he really gave a lot to it. And the fun thing about what he did is he really brought to light some of the technologies we use today, such as you use in our clinic and we use in our technologies and our products. And so he's a pretty unique guy. And I know that for most people, he's made famous because of the Tesla car company.
Yes, which is actually also a very interesting concept as well. There are a couple of things that I wanted to mention. Speaking of in the inventions and frequencies, you may notice that I have a well golden halo around me that actually comes connected with a PEMF device, and I believe most of you gentlemen have experienced the PEMF.
Yes. Oh yes, we've enjoyed it. Yes.
Tell me about your experience with it, because I mean you work with frequencies, obviously tuning element and everything we're talking about. So how was your experience with that, please?
Well, what I've noticed mostly is just so many times you go through life and you feel a certain way and you don't know that you can feel better, or as people would say, it's just the way I am. What I've noticed with the PEMF machine and device is that I just feel better. I feel stronger. I want to do more things. I have the ability and desire to do more things than I did before. And it isn't that I'm forcing myself to do it. It's because I want to do it and I have the ability and just feel better overall. It's sort of sometimes when you have that aha moment, it's hard to describe what exactly it is. You just know, wow, I just feel a lot better than what I did before. And that's how it is for me. And for me to sit an hour to do it isn't easy, but it is an awesome ability to do it, because the trade-off, if you will, really isn't a trade-off. It's like, wow, for an hour a day, I can feel like this. I'm just excited about it. That's the words I can say that I can think of right now.
Thank you. It's this is a very common theme. People feeling better, and the idea is we do our best. Everyone does their best, and even somebody who's not doing their very good at all, but if they could do better, they would. So, given the opportunity, feed the body, feed the frequencies, the energy, supply the founding unit, the cell, with what it needs, and the entire body is going to work. And we're going to get into some of that even heavier. But Christopher, you also had experience with
Yeah, I have. And in fact, I want to point out, if you can show whoever's listening and watching on Facebook Live, is if you can show them the device, look how small and portable it is. And he's not plugged into a wall, which is amazing, because a lot of the PEMF devices on the market, you have to plug it into a wall, you have to hold electrodes, and they're not as convenient. But what you've done besides that is even more amazing. You've made it so simple that anyone can operate it, where a lot of these PEMF devices, you really have to study and you have to almost become a professional just to use them. So yours having 3 settings that do what they do, it's amazing. I personally like the first setting for the chakra, for the body, general wellness. I've used that on my shoulder before. And I also really enjoy the fact that you send a magnet along with the product, so people can actually see the magnet react in the middle of the halo. So what that means is the PEMF device is sending out frequencies that are healthy for the body, and your body responds to them, but you can't see them with your eye. So what you can do is you can go ahead and take that magnet, that's a test magnet, comes with it, you can put it in your hand, and you can put the halo around your hand, and then you don't feel anything until you turn on the device, and then you feel that magnet vibrate. Yes. And so it's showing you that it's actually doing something. And that's kind of the big hard thing in the world of the frequency industry for health and wellness is you can't see it, but you can see the results.
And that's exactly it, because we're going to be talking about a number of frequency and other devices, and there's a lot of them out there. So how do you know what is good? How do you know what is not good? How do you know what works? And how do you know what is a gimmick, so to speak? It's a very interesting world out there, and we are in a very interesting discussion. So let's take it further, please. I think we were one of the things that we are talking about is, and I'd like to jump in here because this is a wonderful outline: energy, frequency, vibration, magnetism, heat, light, sound. Everything is energy. If you'd like to jump in and talk more about that, then please feel free. But I know there's a number of medical devices, literally medical devices, acceptable to the establishment: EKGs, ultrasounds, imaging studies, CAT scans, MRI, PET scans. You've got lots of other stuff. You've got electrosurgery. In other words, everything is frequency. Radio frequency ablation devices, lasers, and then there's other things such as Rife machines or offshoots of Rife machines. PEMF devices, and of course there's products such as tuning element. And so gentlemen, if you'd like, we still have some time. Should we jump into the energy, frequency, vibration, how you see the world, and from the tuning element perspective?
Absolutely. Tuning Element is a company that has built their technology on the shoulders of Tesla and other scientists that have gone before us. And really, the hallmark things that Tuning Element does is we build containers for frequencies that have a supportive effect on the cell. And those containers, even though at first glance it might look unusual to someone, is we can use jewelry that people can wear 24/7 to get frequency of support around the clock. And so it's a passive continuous support of a very low wide spectrum of electromagnetic frequencies. And the neat thing about that is it may sound different to some people, but just like you mentioned, all those devices, for whether it be surgery, for therapies, for diagnosing, have at its core technology reading the energy in the body. And that energy comes in the form of heat, vibration, electromagnetic pulses. And so, we really are a lot more than just being biochemical beings. And if you take yourself back to your high school chemistry, you learned about the negative and positive charges on every single atom. And that would be called today quantum science or quantum bioquantum or nanotechnology, looking at that very fine, minute scale, the most minimal parts of the body. And that's what we're dealing with. So when someone says, well, what does tuning element do? Will it help my headache, or will it help my my sciatica, or will it help my whatever it might be? Tuning element is not designed to stop any symptoms or any particular conditions. We're actually a company this technology is purely designed to support the health and function of the cell. And by doing that, when your body can function better, it can better address any issue. Just like a person who's not drinking enough water during the month or the day, they're constantly in a state of hydration. Well, you get that person drinking more water, then no matter what issue they're facing, their body is healthier and it can better address that issue. And so with Tuning Element, we started back in 2009, actually earlier with the research, but they got to a point where they had two hallmarks. And one of them was having a health and wellness effect for people. And the second one was being able to permanently imprint these frequencies in metal substrates, such as jewelry, stainless steel, surgical stainless steel water bottles. And that is what started us off. And over the years, we've developed other types of frequency blends, which support systems of the body. And it's interesting because I had a conversation with one of the lead researchers at Tuning Element not too long ago, and he said that there's so much that there is yet to learn, discover within the body. We haven't even really come to an end with any of the research. We're still just beginning. And so the neat thing is we're supporting now different parts of the body where we have products to help behavioral wellness. We have peer-reviewed studies that have been published in medical journals and scientific journals on helping autistic children. But also we have people that use it for everyday life. Just like a person might use a multivitamin, I kind of like to relate to Tuning Element as like a multivitamin energetically for your cells, because every single cell in the body emits frequency energy, part of cellular communication, and it also absorbs frequency energy. And
there's a term, and it's called piezoelectric. Beautiful thing. And how that works is human body is a crystal in a way. In other words, you might not be hearing me if I'm not on the microphone here, but human body is actually is a crystal. Bones are crystal, muscles are crystal. Every tissue, cells have crystalline characteristics. And the crystals and the electricity, electromagnetism are a very interesting interaction for anyone who knows anything about that. Think laser, for example. That's a very interesting concept. Laser is literally energy magnified through the power of the crystal. And so now I'm not saying we're going to turn every cell into lasers. I mean, that would be kind of having sharks with lasers on their heads. There'd be too much activity. But that was Austin Powers' reference. For anyone who is old enough to know the movie, but or young enough. So literally everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. And tuning to the electromagnetic health of the cell will actually preempt any damage that will happen to the cell, simply because it wants to maintain the homeostasis and proper structure. We can go a lot more about this, but Thank you. Please continue. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And for some people new to this whole topic, they may not realize that your body responds to frequencies. That's why a person can walk on the bare ground, and that's why some bodybuilders will actually lift on the bare feet on the bare ground, getting the natural frequencies of the earth, because there's a difference in the strength and balance. And everyone responds to frequency because that's how we're built. And it's just as far as what's different with people is what their results are, what their goals may be. And the neat thing is we have, again, Randy here with us from Tuning Element, and he's been with Tuning Element since it started. And so he has heard thousands and thousands of questions from many people over the years. He's also heard testimonies from many people over the years, how people go from, and everyone's a skeptic. And I was too before I worked with Tuning Element, because it sounds so different. It's so far outside of our box and what we normally hear.
Actually, I'm going to say I was a skeptic too. And we connected initially a number of years ago. And then things got busy, we lost track. And then I found one of the patches. And I said, hey, it still might be good. It worked. It was nice. And then I got a call from Christopher and Randy. And they great, let's talk. Time has come. But it did take a couple of years to mature into this concept. So I do appreciate your patience here on this.
We had to mature too.
Gotcha.
I know you. We've come a long way since 2018. So
yes, sir.
It had to be the right timing, and this is the right time, which is awesome on all parts.
Yeah, it's amazing. We've actually had people, because we have a retail store. We have independent distributors around the country. We're also involved in Asia and also in Europe. And the neat thing that we see is the people that come back to us and tell us how it's changed their life. And oftentimes people will say, hey, you know what? I was told by a medical professional after this age, this is pretty much par for the course for your health. And people see those things either reverse or not being an issue anymore. And in fact, we have a number of documented cases of people that come back to us and told us they decided not to commit suicide because their relief had reached such a point that they felt really hope for living again, because their pain was so bad, and for whatever they had tried was not getting them there where they could live in any sort of peace. And so, that's one of the things that drives us. That's one of the things that fires our passion about frequencies and doing what we're doing. And that's one of the fun things about working with you is because we see what you're doing with the PEMF device and Tuning Element as complementary products. Our product is designed to wear, like for instance, I'm wearing one around my neck right now. This is an Elan necklace. It's our level 4 necklace. What we mean by that is it has 4 separate frequency blends in it. And so it actually specifically targets with frequencies 6 different systems of the body. It also has frequencies to help with cellular repair, help with helping your body's electric system, as well as cognitive function. And so it's a product that a person can wear 24/7, and that's really neat because they can get that support through their complete detox cycle, because you're detoxing also at night, and you don't forget to put it on. And then when people actually need more of a boost, or they just want to have a regular boost and a regular push of frequencies in the body, the PEMF device is amazing. And so they really go hand in hand as products. And the thing that we see with people is they don't hear about it from too many people. It's very rare to come across people that hear about frequencies, because a lot of times they go under different names that even though the core science is frequencies, they go by brand names, and such as anyone have ever been to a medical spa, you hear cool laser sculpting. Well, that's a frequency device. You hear of a lot of different things that are out there. And the neat thing is when you begin to understand frequency, you also then quickly realize there's a lot of other things in the world that work that way. Just like a lot of scientists have long said, it's been proven that that's how the olfactory system is believed to work in the body. So your nose. So a lot of times people in science and biologists believe that cell reactions and communication work through a lock and key method. And that was an old understanding. And there's a really neat doctor who won the Nobel Prize for discovering vitamin C. It's Our Zed-Giroski. And he actually would point out and did this on a regular basis, trying to show people that the fact is it's not the lock and key mechanism of cellular communication, because it's more of the sympathetic resonance between two tuning forks resonating frequency back and forth. So cells communicate that way. And he said it like this. He says, if you're going to take the metabolism of a cell and look at how quickly the metabolism of the cell works versus the lock and key theory of how it works, it would take 10,000 years approximately for you to digest this morning's breakfast. And so they knew that cells had to communicate with each other much faster, their metabolisms had to operate much faster, and frequencies have been theorized to move through the body almost at the speed of light, and in some cases, multiple times the speed of light. So that's why, and that's also, it explains why a person can put a tuning element product on their skin or and see an instant difference in their body's reaction. And so a lot of times we'll do such things as muscle testing to show someone that their body is functioning better. But what's better than that is people, for instance, will try our products, whether it be a sample patch from our website or walk into our store or see one of our dealers around the country and actually get a chance to hold a product and see for themselves what's happening in their body, because it supports pain management. And so some people will notice almost an instant reaction with their body, with that pain subsiding or going away. And other people may not be as well hydrated or might have other conductivity issues and more things going on in their body. It may take 30 minutes for them to notice something. But the neat thing is it helps everyone. And that's the fun thing about the PEMF device that you guys have on your website, is it's going to help everyone. And it's like saying, the sun doesn't shine ever. It has to happen because that's how the body's built that way, is to receive frequencies.
That's exactly it. Absolutely. And I'm just going to say the way, and this is what we created with biogenics, which is another concept: self-regulation, positive, good energy for the mind, body, spirit, your thoughts, feelings, emotions. There's frequencies behind the recording, and there's an orchestra of frequencies in there. And there's a reason I'm saying that. It doesn't take just one frequency to succeed in changing or in influencing a biofield or electrophysiology of a human body, which affects health and everything else. That's holism. It literally takes a spectrum of frequencies. So this is where I literally find the additive benefit of. There's people who do grounding. There's people who do basically hug a tree. There's earthing, all sorts of things, incredible, powerful things. And then there's devices that will actually help that, such as tuning element, PEMF. There's various other devices and modalities. Bottom line is, and this I'm just going to bring it down to the very basic. The proof is in the pudding, and this is what I've been saying. You can look at any given device, whether it's a patch. And by the way, I'm wearing jewelry. This is a level 5 from the tuning element. Incredible. Yes, I went for level 5. So yeah, I got you by one level.
Yes.
Well, we're not competing.
And
But
6
all right.
electrical systems too.
Yes, I want more electrical systems working for me. But we will talk more about that in the break. And we got 1 minute to go. Everything is holy. That's also the difference between holistic medicine, holistic approach, and conventional. Because conventional literally looks at the body as literally lock and key, or similar concept, and that is literally God knows how many centuries behind, just in thought, in practice, and in everything else. Whereas the modalities that we use to diagnose are literally up to date. So does that make any sense, gentlemen? That in our conventional, or as we say, traditional, it's not traditional. Traditional is what's been happening for thousands of years, which is frequency, energy, and vibration. Everything is frequency, energy, and vibration. Everything. We are our hearts, our minds, our brains, electrical system, every single cell. As a matter of fact, we're energy. And one of my near-death experiences, I'll just say it this way, I flipped out of the body. Well, how interesting. There's a bloody mess down below. I talk about that story. I was energy. That's what I was. Anyway, we're almost going into the break, and then we'll continue the conversation.
Wait.
And,
Hang on.
are we good?
Not yet. Okay. I'm going to turn your mics off a minute.
Yep.
Because there's a woman online
Mm-hmm.
that is posting, this is BS.
Okay, let's address it.
Much
Let's read it.
respect to Dr. Norm. This is not representative of good medical advice. A bad vein. It's all the same woman.
Okay, let's. I want you to read this out loud.
Mm-mm.
Let's do that. We have Can you hear us online?
Yeah, now they can.
Okay, we have a wonderful, interesting thing. The world doesn't come with just a positive. It's not just all nice, shiny, beautiful things. There's two sides to each coin. So I would like to address an online comment, and Robin said to me, "Oh no, there's something." But let's talk about it, and let's address it from a very purely respectful and as much objective as we can basis, and maybe we can help somebody along the way. Because, like I said, not everyone sees the world in a positive view. Robin, do you want to read the question, please?
She just commented.
Do you want to? Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah. So go ahead and let's just. Yeah.
She just commented that this was not representative of good medical advice.
No, read the whole thing, please. I want the full effect. Love it. Thank you.
She commented that she believes this is BS. This is not representative of good medical advice. This is a bad vein.
Now, by the way, BS is an abbreviation in the medical field for several things, including bowel sounds. But I take it we're talking about a different kind of BS here, which could be a belief system. Belief system is what I call BS, because that's what our belief systems are, more to a large degree. Any thoughts or questions?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
again, there's a lot of folks, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of devices out there, a lot of stuff that people are maybe selling or pushing or saying that they're going to do something that they might not. And there's a lot of misinformation. So let's talk about misinformation from all angles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, when you look to see if something's real or not, a lot of people professionally will end up looking for, is there studies on this? Has independent studies been done? And with tuning element products, as well as PEMF devices, there's been tremendous amount of independent studies. We're talking about peer-reviewed journals that people stake their entire academic and professional careers on to say that this is real science. But even more than that, anyone can test what we're doing and get results. And so it's not something it's only if I'm in the room or if it's only around. But even more than that, it's very interesting. When the X-ray first came out, when they first discovered X-ray, there was a lot of sensationalists out there that actually said that it was occultic and satanic. The idea of being able to take a picture of someone's skeleton through their body to try to help them. So it's not uncommon that new things are met with pushback, really.
Resistance, yeah. Actually, Dr. Shealy talks about when he first got up on the stage, talking about the dorsal cord stimulator, TENS unit type concept. He was literally booed off the stage. They would have thrown bottles at him if they could. And a year later, they were, everyone was welcoming and wanting to do the procedure. So that's just the nature of science. But please go ahead. Yeah.
Albert Einstein says if an idea is not absurd, it won't stand. The idea is if you're going to come up with something different, if it's going to be a breakthrough, it's going to vary from what is already known knowledge. And so you have to be open-minded. Being open-minded and curious has led to some of the most amazing discoveries in human history. And that's people like Nikola Tesla. He was curious, he was open-minded, and he went well beyond what was known to be possible. He would dream about things and use what he dreamed about and try to duplicate those things in the laboratory. So, and like I said, I can understand anyone who's making those comments online, because I was a skeptic too. I was thinking, well, what do they do? What is that? It's so strange. But when I actually tried the product and realized this actually works, and my personal testimony as a user of tuning element products, I'm wearing the necklace, I have a bracelet on, is my knees don't hurt when I walk upstairs. I'm overweight, so my knees struggle. But when I walk up and downstairs, I don't have an issue with it. And also what I've noticed is one unique thing is over time, I realized I was not having these big outbreaks when I came into contact with poison ivy. And I actually have become more resilient, and I've lost, I don't know a better way to say it, my poison allergy allergy. And additionally, Tuning Element has a sleep product. We have a sleep necklace that people can use, and it has frequencies that support circadian rhythms in the body, it supports melatonin production. And I notice when I wake up that I feel better and I feel more rested, and I don't have any known sleeping issues.
We're getting ready to come back in on the radio.
Okay, thank you.
How much time we have?
About 15 seconds.
Yeah,
Okay. So just to finish up, I welcome anyone that's a skeptic to try our product. It's being used by 7 surgery clinics and 2 hospitals in the United States right now.
Yep, and we'll continue further when we get in.
Okay.
So we're coming back in. During the break, we addressed a very interesting question about, from a person who did not, skeptical. Let's put it this way, and it's okay. I welcome skeptics. I love it because here's the thing: everything that I do in my clinic, everything that we work with, I tell people if it's judge the tree by the fruit that it bears. Don't listen to the words. I mean, the information is good. Don't look at testimonials. Testimonials are good, but hey. Different people, different effects. See for yourself what works. And this is the same principle as what I do in clinical practice. If I can have a brilliant protocol based on Dr. Shealy's and ours, multiple years of practice, but if that protocol is not working for the person, bottom line is you got to do something different. Einstein definition of insanity. And the other thing that I want to say, whether it's medical establishment or lay people or however, is what is the true definition of ignorance? Ignorance is an interesting word. So most people say it's not knowing information. Well, I don't know a lot myself. In other words, we're still learning. That's why I talk to people who know more in different aspects, and then I just would close the circle, so to speak. We fill in the blanks. But the worst of the ignorance is ignoring the facts. And we can see it widely in the medical profession, but we also see it in lay people's terms. And I'm just going to say, ignoring the facts is not going to be good for anybody. It's not good for the medical system. It's not good for the doctors and other healthcare professionals. It's not good for patient outcomes. And as a matter of fact, it's also not good for patients to ignore conventional or any other aspects as well. In other words, if somebody's having an acute appendix attack, and this is I'm going to speak as an emergency room doc, you don't put a tuning element for, don't put a PEMF on, hoping that it's gonna help. It might, but get to the hospital. You need surgery, and that's just a fact. What is holism? Holism is everything. Holy. We are holy. Spirit, soul, mind, body. That is who we are. Energy. Our perception as human beings, and please feel free to jump in. I've had several near-death experiences out of body, so I can talk about my personal. Again, I'm not saying that's science because I don't want to do a double-blind, placebo-controlled experiment with more than one person on this. I really don't, folks. I really please. Let's keep those accidents to a minimum and be done with. But short of it, once you realize who you are, what you are, that everything is energy, and how we heal is through energy. The energy of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, energy of the body. Knife, a scalpel, is energy. It's focused energy in the hand of a person who is also energy and has intention. A pill is an energy. Motrin is energy. Chemical molecules stored together. Energy is everything, folks. Energy is everything. Once you realize that, once you become proficient at working with energy and you use the right tools, the world is yours. Will you be open-minded, or will you be ignorant? In other words, ignorant meaning ignoring the facts or not knowing the facts. Now you don't have now took out the excuse of, if you're watching this radio show, about knowing the facts. The information is out there. Now it's your choice to decide for yourself what you want to do for yourself, and if you're happy in the world as you are, and if you're not happy, you can stay unhappy or you can make it better. That's your choice. That's a free will. And that's holism. But please.
I agree. I mean, and don't let your condition, whether it be pain or whatever, don't let that become your identity. Don't let that become this your talking point. Don't let that become who you are. And you said something that was really neat about open-mindedness, because the word ignorance has such a negative connotation most of the time. A lot of people use that as a put down to people, but ignorance is simply acknowledging that you don't know. And so you know what? When people decide to go get higher education, they're exercising ignorance. I need to go learn more so I can be better in a profession. And so it is also, unless we acknowledge ignorance, one doctor had said, he says, then you're closing yourself off to discoveries. You have to acknowledge ignorance first before we can move forward. And that's one thing that holds a lot of people behind. And that's why people get second and third recommendations from people, because they figure out maybe this person doesn't know all they're about, or maybe there's a different angle to address this issue, whether it be with accounting, whether it be their health, whether it
I'll
be...
jump in here. Most of my consultations, a lot of my consultations, not most, but a lot, are literally second opinions. People who either want to do something, in other words, different than their providers are doing, or they're going for surgery. They want to know if the surgery is necessary, what the options are, or if cancer, so on and so forth. But the bottom line is, knowledge is information. That's power. That is power. If you know your options, if you know that you're not confined to a certain bad experience and bad outcome, you can choose. You can rise up. You can literally open your wings and just get up to a higher level of possibility and outcomes. And that's I believe ultimately that's how we heal. That is what I attribute my colon cancer stage 3+. I was told 2 years to die, not to live, to die in 2007. Hey, thank you. I'm still here in full remission for the rest of my life, as I call it. So God bless. And lots of other things. Energy is everything. Now, by the way, I should mention, feel free to call in to the radio show, talk about energy, frequency, vibration, tuning element, any questions about any of the topics, but also any other topic that you like. 417-447-1777. And I do want to say, from the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate the critics. I appreciate people who push me, challenge us, and because literally, if everyone instead tells us how great we are, how do we grow? How do we know how to get better? So I appreciate that. So and it's a wonderful thing. So keep giving us more room for growth. And we have a caller. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi. How are you? Oh, hold on. Now I can hear you. There we are. Hi.
Mhm.
No, go ahead, please. You're on the air, so you're live. Yes, ma'am. Gentlemen, would you like to jump in?
Sure, absolutely. I have worked with people in demonstrating our product that tell me they have bone-on-bone pain. One celebrity, Henry Mock, actually, a 9th-degree black belt, has bone spurs in both shoulders. I demonstrated our 5-minute relief patch with him, and with less than 5 minutes, he had complete relief in one of his shoulders. We didn't feel the bone spurs, and about 80% in the other shoulder within 5 minutes of wearing our patch. And the thing about our technology, it supports the body, but your body may need surgery or may not. So I'm not saying that this helps absolutely everyone get to the point where you don't need surgery, but in some people, it helps them to the point where they can delay it, or maybe it helps their body, work well without that need. In fact, we have one of our salesmen in our store in Branson, Missouri, David Rennick, is a knee guy, a wonderful guy. He has bone on bone in his knee, and he uses one of our products to help him. And you can see he actually has a different walk when he's wearing our products because he doesn't feel that bone on bone pain. So there are other things you can try before going down that road. Tuning Element has a website, which is tuningelement.com. You can order sample patches there. They make them very inexpensive. They get a pack of 4. Or even come to the corporate office or the store in Branson, Missouri, and they'll be happy for you to allow you to demonstrate the products. Try them, sit there for 30 minutes or an hour, however long you like, and see what it does for your body. One of the key things, though, with anyone's body is hydration. And in the American Western diet, we drink a lot of sodas. Some people drink alcohols. Those are all dehydrating things. And so one of the best things you can do that everyone should do is try to make sure they're drinking an adequate amount of water in their body, and extra water if you're drinking one of the other things, such as maybe sodas or something that's like a diuretic, like caffeine.
And by the way, if a person is enjoying sugar or soft drinks or things of that nature, that's direct inflammation, and that's irritation, destruction of the bones, joints, lots of tissue, and the inflammation in the body all around. So hopefully that's not a factor. But I think you're right. Just keeping it clean. nice and clean. And I'd give it a go. I mean, actually, my wife and myself have used the patches, and like I said, that's how I reconnected with this gentleman. I found an old patch and I put it on. I'm like, this is great. I should connect with them. And then next thing I know, they're calling me before I get in touch with them. So I'm not sure how that works out, but it's good. I'm grateful. There's other things too. The PEMF is an interesting device, especially in the first mode. I would consider that. And last but not least, I would also make sure that you have magnesium for, again, it helps with the muscles, with the bones, and it also helps just literally relieve the pain in itself, in its own right. Magnesium lotion or spray, magnesium chloride. Dr. Shealy has demonstrated that it raises DHEA by 60% in itself. So that's a powerful modality. You got to have a good B complex, good vitamin C. The youth formula, that's another way to raise DHEA by another 60%, anti-stress wellness hormone. So you're doing multiple things at the same time for the body. Vitamin D, D3, 50,000 units. That's essential. Boron, 12 milligrams. Obviously, nice, gentle movement activity. The more you can keep things moving, the less likely it's going to go to surgery. And surgery is certainly the last answer, but it's an answer. I hope that helps, just again, between all of us.
Absolutely.
Blessings. Yeah.
Yeah, another call.
And we have another phone call. Hi, how are you? You're live. Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, loud and clear, on the air. Royal arrive. I believe between the three of us, we can have a wonderful, wonderful discussion. Would you, yes, absolutely. Any other thought? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Not with vitamin K itself. What we're talking about, I'll just clarify real briefly, and then we'll get to the other question, because that's a wonderful question, is we're talking about vitamin D and vitamin K combination. They're both fat soluble, so you can have too much. You could have too much. But what is too much? The RDA, or recommended daily allowance, I have another definition for those three letters, but that's I won't say it on the air. It's literally insufficient. So if you want to, either from 15 to 45 milligrams daily is a generally good concept. It's hard to get into trouble with that dose, but it's sometimes blood work can be helpful. In other words, on a regular basis. Wonderful. If you have your blood level checked, chemistry, basic metabolic panel, that's again standard medical intervention or test, you should, and it looks good, I wouldn't worry about it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you're absolutely correct. And Chris, Randy, take it away.
Sure. Yeah, that's thank you for that question. That's a very wonderful question. Dr. Royal Raymond White was a really amazing researcher. He lived in San Diego, California, and he actually was doing testing with frequencies. And he is known for being able to discover the resonant frequencies of pathogens and cancers and diseases, and then over oscillating those cells by using frequencies to destroy them, where they would just burst and stop functioning. And he had tested this, in vitro. He tested this in the laboratory. And one of his friends was a medical doctor, and he really kept telling him, "Hey, you should test this with people." And he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to get involved with testing this on people. That was, he didn't feel comfortable yet. And so he said the only way he would do that was with a very large group of doctors. And so his friend went ahead and got a hold of the entire medical staff at USC, University of Southern California, and they did do testings, and the results were pretty amazing. But he is known for doing a lot of the work in discovering how to use anti-pathogen frequencies in the body effectively. And that's one of the neat things. Tuning element is mentioned in the Rife Handbook. It's a desktop reference that a lot of people use in the frequency world using Rife therapies or maybe at-home PEMF machines that can send out Rife frequencies as well, like Dr. Sorin's. And we utilize those at a small level. Some of our early stage products is our level 1 bracelets. And we expand that spectrum of anti-pathogen type frequencies as you go up in our different levels of the more advanced products. But yeah, he contributed a lot. And you know what he also did? He invented a microscope that was better than anything in the world to be able to actually observe this action of cells being destroyed by frequencies.
And it's interesting. In the true spirit of the regulatory agencies and the three-letter agencies and all sorts of things, he was literally destroyed. He was literally destroyed. His inventions were destroyed and kept from the public, and to make sure that they would not see the light of day. Well, it got out. So the truth, and I do want to say this for anyone who's trying to or wanting to suppress the truth, light, and love. Try to turn on darkness in the middle of the light room. I wish you luck in that. Or let me rephrase that. If the room is dark and the shadow is everywhere, just turn on the light. That's it, baby. That's all it takes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Do we have anyone else calling?
Okay. So let's go. A couple of other things. I do want to announce a very wonderful special opportunity for a sale on PEMF. Speaking of frequency devices, if you want to take advantage, of course. P as in Paul, EMF 22, 15% or $240 off the unit, and of course 15% of everything on the website, realholisticdoc.com. Now, I know I don't own your company, but can I make an announcement for a sale for you guys?
Sure, yes, please.
Okay, would you guys like to offer 50% discount on everything right now?
We could probably do that, but we wouldn't be here next week.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But we can do a couple of things. We can tell people we do have a special right now on our website at tuningelement.com, where if you buy some of the relief patches that we were talking about, the relief system patches on our website, they're 2 for 1. So you put one in your cart and you purchase that, and we send you 2 packages. They're $35 for a 6-pack of patches. But hey, if you're a skeptic out there, which is fine. Hey, I've been there, so I know exactly this, and I have a heart for you. Is please don't spend very much money if you're just not sure if this works, and maybe you never spend money because you don't know that it works for you. That's fine. We actually have a $9.95 package of 4 patches, so it's like $21 off a retail price. We give you free shipping, and just so you can personally try it, it's one of our community service products items is. You get 2 frequency patches that are to help support pain management, our release system patch, 5-minute relief. And then we also have in there our Be Well patches, which is behavior energetic wellness patches. And those have done very well in clinical trials with pediatrics. One of our most, actually, one of our best customers is a traumatic brain injury customer that experienced that. And he sees that his cognitive function increases. So that's something we can do online. There's a few other things, but people can always call Tuning Element. And the number there is 417-973-0000. We love talking about the product. You actually will get a human on the phone. So again, that's 417-973-0000.
And actually, I'm thinking of really thinking of getting the tuning element in our line of products, because it's just I love having what we like. Oh, well, did I say it right? Yeah, I like having the things that I like here available. So so you should be able to get it at some point through us as well. But for education, for information, for everything, Chris and Randy are absolutely fantastic. And we have a call. All right, fantastic.
They hung up.
Oh, call us
All
back,
right.
please. We still have time.
Yeah,
I do
couple
want to mention in the meantime, there's an appreciation for our friends and supporters. Spring Valley, wonderful health food store here in town, carrying most of Dr. Shealy's favorites, essentials, youth formula, magnesium, bliss oils, literally lots of good stuff, wonderful service, wonderful people, and they have a good heart. So that's what matters. Also, for those who don't get their veggies and antioxidants, tart cherry juice concentrate, another one of Dr. Shealy's favorites. You will hear him talk about it every single show and more. And 2 tablespoons is enough to provide more health benefits than you can imagine. Antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, good for you, tastes good, and, well, you should still have your veggies, but if you don't, tart cherry juice concentrate. But I will encourage 6 to 8 servings of veggies, no matter what. We do have a call. Hello.
Not there again.
Well,
All
we
right.
are...
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say,
no.
well, one thing we have some of these calls coming in. It just reminds me. A lot of my first years with Tuning Element was sitting in an area where I'd hear Randy with customer service calls, and it would be so funny. Is we're dealing with a lot of times very passive support to the body, and people will call in and say, "Well, I'm not sure if this is working anymore." And so, Randy, what would you tell them?
Well, I'd say you can take it off, and they'd say, "Oh no, I'm not doing that." So I said, "Well, you can mail it into us." No, I'm not going to do that. I said, "Well, I guess we've established that it works." Or maybe they would, sometimes when our body starts to repair and rebuild itself, it hurts. When you get a paper cut, you don't notice it until your body starts to try to repair and rebuild itself, and then it's painful. Same thing can happen when we maybe with the PEMF. I'm not sure. I know with our devices sometimes it can intensify what's trying to be fixed.
Interestingly, I will say this absolutely. Some people, and there are several modes on this right now, on the gamma mode. Gamma is the 40 cycles per second frequency. So I'm the doctor with a halo. I'm the only doctor with a halo in my hospital where I work in Highland County. I've stopped being concerned about being strange. I already am certifiably strange, if you want to put it that way. We got 2 minutes to the end of the show, but so there's several things here. I love walking around with this. I literally do. It just gives me a mental boost. This is a third mode. This is the delta mode, and this can also help just with the neuropathic pain and lots of other benefits. But I sort of lost temporarily the train of thought that we were on.
We were good. We were just talking about sometimes when something's being repaired, it can actually hurt.
Yes. And so it's interesting when people start with hyperanxiety, acute pain, mental health, just general discomfort, and they're used to being crappy. They're used to feeling crappy and thinking crappy, and all of a sudden something starts to move. And I usually get a complaint. I felt something very strange and I stopped. And how did you feel after it? I felt worse. You want to think about that a little bit? All right.
Yeah, that reminds me is that for some people that are sensitive to the tuning element technologies, when they first try it, they can go through a rapid detox.
Yes.
And some people actually will taste a little bit of metal on their tongue from what they eat or consume or medications. Some people might also get a slight headache because they're very sensitive to the technology. It's working very well. And because what's happened at the core level is their cells are now taking in water and oxygen faster from the bloodstream and getting rid of byproducts out of the cell at a faster rate. Just like if your leg falls asleep because of lack of circulation and that circulation returns, it is painful. And so Randy's so right. I mean, and I know you see this too, is sometimes the path to healing is a little bit of discomfort.
And that's when we do, we're almost done here, but when we do intravenous therapies as well, intravenous vitamin C, intravenous ozone, and it's all related to the Tesla concept as well. I mean, it's just incredible, especially ozone. But I expect a certain amount of a detoxification reaction, and that's good. But too much is, of course, too much. We'll continue talking after the break, and if you're not with us on YouTube and Facebook Live, do join us because the radio program will be expiring, or in other words, our construct will be up in a few weeks. So we'll continue on our podcast, but I want to make sure that you're staying with us if you enjoy the information. So we're going to go to a break, and we will
see you next week.
See you next week. Yes.
Hey, you mentioned the
Hang
ozone.
on.
Tesla, he invented the ozone generator. Isn't that amazing?
Hang on just a second.
Indeed. And Robin, are we back?
Yes, now you're back on Facebook.
By the way, Christopher, you did say just something very interesting. Tesla also is behind the understanding of the ozone.
Yeah, he invented the ozone generator, and so it's amazing. And that is something that I was excited when I heard that you guys do that in your clinic. That is such an amazing treatment.
Let me talk a little bit about that. In addition to...
we did have a question online.
Okay. Yep, and we'll take a few questions. So we'll go for a few minutes here. We'll go past the hour. That's all right.
Okay.
You want to stay with us? Great if you can, and obviously you can come back. It's a recording. So So Nikola Tesla has done a fantastic job with the ozone. We use vitamin C as a intravenous vitamin C in large amounts, and when you talk about large amounts, anywhere from 25 to 100 grams. So when you talk about somebody who's offering vitamin C therapy or Myers cocktail, make sure you ask about the amounts, make sure you ask about the quality, because not every vitamin C or every Myers is the same. I'm going to say the same about ozone. While vitamin C or Myers is incredibly powerful it's an antioxidant, it's an immune booster, it's great for the GU system. I'm not going to say it cures, because I will not say that. It may assist with healing an immune system, and we had a couple of miracles, read between the lines if you like, of people, including an 80-year-old gentleman who was basically stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and he went through about 20 IVs of ozone and vitamin C, as well as other modalities, after being written off by the oncology, and he beat the cancer. He was in remission. Again, miracle. Is there a correlation? You judge. We have a number of stories of that nature, but again, I'm not going to say it out loud because of certain 3-letter agencies out there, which maybe should be 4 letters. Let's going to continue to something else here. So medical ozone. Yeah, this is why I got to be careful when I say I'm turning into Dr. Shealy day by day here. So personality-wise, I know, Robin, I got you. Yes.
Well, it's amazing what the body can do, and it's amazing when it gives the right support that it wants to self-heal and cure itself.
Yes.
And that's what made me excited to hear that you guys are also offering those type of treatments.
And ozone is an O3 molecule generated by electricity in a medical device. Temporary O3, it literally clears everything. I can go into a lot more, but if you got a viral concern, bacterial, fungal, if something is not going away, if the healing is not proper, if you're taking too much time to heal, autoimmunity, anything just literally that is not right, consider getting your blood and your internal system cleaned out and immunized, just boosted. That's what that does. And again, back to Nikola Tesla. Wow. Incredible. Do we have any questions? Hellos? Let's see. Hellos first.
Okay, hold on. Hello from New York.
New York.
Very
Hello, Mom, as
interesting.
well. Yeah.
Very interesting
Mama's in New York.
conversation.
Yeah.
I think that was the only hello that we got.
Oh, well, that could have been Mom. Sometimes she watches me. Yeah.
We had someone that was questioning Christopher's claim when you first started talking about your products. You said that it gave someone hope and deterred their suicide.
Yes. Yeah, actually.
Let's repeat the question,
And
because
repeat that, because I'm not on mic.
Sure. Yeah, the question was, as someone had heard earlier, that that we had some customers that decided not to commit suicide, and our product helped to give them hope. Yeah, and what I'm referring to is actually during my 6 years with the company and more future, is I've been in contact directly with some of these customers, as well as we have 8 documented cases. And some of these customers become pretty good friends when they come and visit us. But it's really unique. Some of the things that people go through in life is amazing, especially people in the medical field, in the Army, who see things that are traumatic. We've had people that have served in the Army. We have had retired federal agents where their body has gone through so much that the modern modalities that have been available to them at the time haven't helped them enough, and they've actually have considered that. There was also people just have this ripple effect of health continue to decline over years. And one lady had visited Branson, and she didn't tell her husband that this was going to be her last vacation. She wanted one good last memory with her husband before she committed suicide at the end of the week. So she came to Branson, Missouri. She was in so much pain she could only go out for 2 hours a day, and she happened to come by with her husband to one of our stores. She tried on the products, and immediately she had the taste of metal in her mouth. She noticed the swelling in her legs was going down. Long story short, she bought products for her husband, and also for family members. And she confessed to her husband what her intentions were prior to her discovering tuning element. It was such a powerful thing. She actually was wanted to come speak to the entire staff and share with the staff that it's because of this product that she decided not to do it. So yes, in some ways we're innovator. We innovate products that can give people hope. Not all hope is found in just getting relief from pain from a product that supports pain management. There's spiritual hope. There's a lot of other hopes out there. But for those people who their hope hinged on their physical body's pain, we were able to help with that.
And I'm going to jump in. In our clinical practice, I've been doing emergency room, family medicine, all sorts of conventional medical work for over 20 years, 22 actually to be exact. It's interesting, the word hope, and I want to talk about that. It's more important than any other word out there when you're not feeling well, because it doesn't mean that everything is going to turn out just perfectly fine, honky-dory, fine, whatever the words are, within a second. You might not change the physical condition, but this is the difference. And suicides, just all sorts of things. People literally, chronic pain and mental health is completely connected, folks. And I know we are going beyond the hour. I'll just keep it brief, but stay tuned. We have a lot more conversations coming up. It's chronic pain, mental health, chronic disease, chronic stress. Stress leads to everything else down the line. We literally are talking about the breakdown of the human. Breakdown of a human. There was I hear and I talk about this, and I hope that wasn't real, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is. But the experiments on the frogs, and there has been said that if you take a frog, and you try to put it in the hot water, that frog is going to jump out. It doesn't want to be boiled voluntarily. But you take the same frog, or somebody would take the same frog and put it in a lukewarm water and slowly warm that frog up, the water. You're going to boil that frog before it realizes it's done. And this is what's happening. Most damage is gradual and ongoing. And this is where the word hope is the key, because and we talk about this all the time. Energy. What am I? I am energy, ultimately. What do I do with my energy? How do I manage my energy? How do I become the master of my energy? Because how do I become the master of the world? That's the bigger question, right? It doesn't have to be health. Could be money. Could be business. Could be family. Could be recreation. Could be sports. Could be whatever you like. Could be your hobby. How do you become the master? It starts not just with the physical. It starts with the direction, with the mind, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions. Wherever you go, wherever you direct from there, that's what you get. Every thought, every word is a prayer. People don't realize that. That's energy. What are we? We're spiritual beings. We're a soul. What is that? Energy. Energy. Again, I'm not saying all energy is the same form. It's not all heat. It's not all gas. It's not all sort of certain chemical composition or structure. But the concept of the word energy, including energy in the physical body, when everything is harmonious and it flows, life is beautiful. It's hard to be sick. It is difficult to be sick. And if you get sick, you recover fast because, again, it's off kilter. Nope, that doesn't seem right. Then there's people who are completely fragmented and all over the place. And yes, conventional medicine is going to be perfectly happy to take you piece by piece. Oh, here's a liver specialist. Here's a heart specialist. Here's the knee doctor. Here's that procedure. Here's this procedure. Ultimately, you get a collection of new parts, but they're still disconnected and discombobulated. Is that what you want to be?
No, and like you mentioned earlier, you mentioned holistic health, and that's what you do. You need a conductor for all those different parts of the symphony of the body to bring it all together and make sure everyone's working in the same direction so you can get a magnificent result. And that's what you're talking about. You want to not just have specialists, but you want to have someone who's looking at over your overall holistic health and well-being.
And especially the word hope, because we're staying with the word hope. The word hope is the most powerful word in the world. When I was, just a quick little aside, when I got into a car wreck in March of 21, I was literally paralyzed. I mean, my L3 was burst open. I took a few steps out of the vehicle and I went down, and that's it. So at that time, my mind, my thoughts. I mean, I went into all kinds of stuff. Here's my career as a doctor. Here's my career as an athlete, as a martial athlete. Here's all my dreams. Will I be able to be use my manly function, so to speak? In other words, will I be able to so on and so forth? All these things. Will I be able to function? Am I going to need around the clock wheelchair? My God, all the scary things. And that's when I realized fear is not going to serve me. Hope. And I determined at that moment right there that I'm going to do something with that. And long story short, Within 4 weeks, I was back to the emergency room after surgery and fusion, working 24-hour shift. Stupid, too early, but 2 weeks later, I was better. And then I decided to go back into martial arts and into a new system. And so now, a little bit more than a year later, I'm now just tested for brown belt in a Goju with Kenpo system. Basically, not for any other purpose, but for myself to know that, you know what, if I was going to be able to barely walk by this time, might as well enjoy myself. Might as well optimize. And that's what it's all about. Now, there's multiple modalities, there's electromagnetic, but it's really the power of the mind. There's actually one of the most powerful healing phrases that's been around for over 100 years and has helped over tens of thousands of people. And it's part of the biogenics, self-regulation system created by Dr. Shealy. And it goes something like this. Every day and in every way, I am getting better and better. Say it to yourself. Every day and in every way, I am getting better and better. It could mean different things to different people. What's the alternative? Every day and in every way, I am feeling worse and worse and worse and worse. Think about it. Every day and in every way, I'm getting better. And then you can add whatever else. You can add a prayer. You can add anything that's specific to you. And, well, we're definitely beyond the hour. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Just thank you for your time. I appreciate what you do for all of your patients. I appreciate what you do with us. And it's just really neat to see this information getting out to people.
Thank you. Randy, any
Well,
thoughts?
regarding the skeptic that called in, and just, after what happened to us as a country in 2020 with the COVID, I think we're all skeptics.
Yes.
And I've been one with tuning ailment. Christopher's been one. Dr. Soren's been one, and that's okay. But I've had so many people come to me and say, I'm so glad that person pulled me into the store. I'm so glad that someone that I know shared this information with me. I would have not have ever known that I could get help with my situation because I didn't have any hope.
And for just to keep things on a practical matter, because I do understand, and I understand fully that in order to fully partake in life, you have to have a spirit soul, and then there's control center, but then there's the pattern. You actually have to do something or bring something into the physical reality because we have physical bodies. In other words, follow through. And what I love about this is that we're not just talking about the potential for energy. Everything is energy. We all heard New Age concepts, and they're wonderful. But if there's no follow through, what does it mean? What does it do? If you're not seeing the results, it means nothing. That's what that means. So we have various options. We have the PEMF device. We have the various protocols. We have the various teachings of how to work with the energy center. There's other products that work absolutely beautifully in harmony with the body and with everything that we're talking about. So I had no hesitation about bringing these guys on board. And there's actually Chris and Randy. Would you like to potentially come on as we have more podcasts down the line? Because we will be going to a podcast platform more so. So if you're following us, we'll keep you posted. But the radio program will only be for another few weeks. Our contract is almost up. It's been a beautiful contract. And Robin will certainly miss you, not for the next few weeks, but we'll. But if anything changes, of course, we'll come back to the radio. In the meantime, I will absolutely have intention to have a podcast, and I would love to have you guys on.
Oh yeah, I would love to come back. I know there's just within the show and prior to the show, there's so many things I've thought of that areas that we can talk about with frequency. There's so many specifics. There's so many fun things that are just really exciting to learn about that we can do. And we can even tell people how to even try and experiment in their own home with these type of products. And so, yes, I would love to come back. And I think that your listeners are going to have a ball.
This is what I love. I love to bring wild and wacky people on the show, and the strange and unusual. And Christopher and Randy, you're wonderfully strange and unusual. I love you guys. Thank you.
We love you too.
And to all the listeners out there, much love as well. And again, just a basic concept: energy. That is all there is. How do you manage it? What do you choose? It's a free choice. It's a free will. You can be in personal hell or you can be in personal heaven. I would choose the better. All right, guys. Guys and girls, have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week.